I'm back. Grandma is back. I'm a grandma. I'm a grandma. My first grandchild was born last week. He is the love of my life. Who knew that you could fall in love with a baby that fast? Well, I knew it with my kids, but it's different. Something is different with a grandbaby. Oh gosh, I love him so much. Mom and Dad are doing good. Baby Colton is doing good. He was born breech, he was breech and never turned. And when she went into labor, they had already scheduled her for the 12th to have a C-section, but she went into labor, so they had to do a C-section right then. And he's got hip dysplasia, which is very common with breech babies. His legs are kind of like a frog's legs. So they're going to go see an orthopedic here soon. The pediatrician did the referral the day before last. An orthopedic at the Children's Hospital, and he may have to wear a harness or something, to straighten his little legs out, but it's not anything really serious. So, but keep them in your prayers. Keep baby Colton in your prayers that everything's fine. Other than the hip issue, he is 100% perfect baby, and I love him so much. My name is going to be Honey, and Chris is going to be Pawpaw. And why did I pick Honey? Well, years and years and years and years ago, when my kids were small, I taught preschool at a local church, so I could be home in the afternoons with them, and that kind of stuff. But I had a little boy in my class, and his grandmother picked him up every day, and he called her Honey. And she would come to the door at pickup time, and his eyes would get this big when he saw her, and he ran to the door with his arms up, Honey, Honey. And I said then, my name's going to be Honey. It was just the sweetest, cutest. Every day you saw this, and I just loved it. And I was just like, I'm going to be a Honey. And so many, many, many years, I guess that's probably 30 years later, I've always known I was going to be Honey, and Honey I am. And I love it. Okay, enough of the grandbaby talk. I may talk about him a little bit more later on, but I just love him. Okay, so I took a day off of work today because I've got a ton of stuff to do. I was at the hospital 3 days last week. My house is a disaster, and tomorrow I'm going to go and stay with them for a night or two. My son and daughter-in-law in Colton, and so I took off today because I two things that's on my mind here. I need to do some cooking. So I want to make some freezer meals for my son and daughter-in-law. And my husband's best friend's father passed away, and so we're wanting to take a meal over to their house tonight. So I've got all that on my mind that I need to get done. I think that I know what I'm going to do. Things could change, but this morning I got out and I laid out a bunch of meats and stuff, and they're still thawing, so we'll get to that a little bit later. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some sourdough discard bagels. I think I'm going to make blueberry bagels. One for us to have here, and two, I'm going to take some to my son and daughter-in-law for maybe a quickie, snacky breakfast in between the feedings and the diaper changes and all that stuff. So I want to get this started because you're going to have rise time and all that rigmarole. And so I'm going to get this started, and I wanted to bring you along with this part. I do have my stand mixer out. I'm not doing this in my bread machine simply because I need to shred a bunch of cheese too, and I do that in my stand mixer. So I didn't want to have to wash my bread maker and my stand mixer today. So we're just going to do it all in this today. All right, so I'm going to bring you down, and my hair's wet. I put it up in a little ball. I got bobby clips all back here to keep all the short hairs from flying away, because I'm cooking for other people. So I don't want somebody to bite into some of my food and there be a big old hair in it. So I've got it all slicked back, and hopefully no loose hairs escape into a food product. You know what I mean? Okay, first things first, I am using the Farmhouse Owned Boone recipe for sourdough bagels. I'm on a website. I didn't get it off a YouTube video. I just found it on a website. So we're going to do this. First thing we need is 1 cup of warm water. And then 3 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And when you're doing a sourdough discard recipe, it always calls for yeast because your sourdough is not active. You won't get a rise from it. And I am going to put just a little bit of maple syrup in there to help feed the yeast. We'll give it gave it a little stir to mix it in. Now this is going to have to sit here for 5-10 minutes until the yeast gets activated and we see some foamy bubbles on top. So while we're waiting on the yeast to activate, I'll just kind of give you an overview of what I've got in my mind that I want to make today. All I'm saying is pow, pow. I'm going to make, of course, the bagels. I've got some no-knead bread rising. I did that earlier this morning. I have got videos, recipes on that, but I'll put it in the description box. So simple and delicious. So I've got that rising. However, starting on the bagels. To take over to our friend's house tonight, I'm going to make chicken fettuccine Alfredo with spinach, and then that no-knead bread is going with that. Excuse me. And I'm trying to think of a dessert to take. I may just do like some chocolate chip cookies or something like that, that, you know, you don't have to worry about it being refrigerated. It's just a grab and go cookie. So I'm going to probably make a cookie. I just don't know exactly the top yet, but that's for tonight. For my son and daughter-in-law, I'm doing them a chicken spinach Alfredo, and I'm going to do a Mexican casserole, and I'm going to probably, with some of these bagels, I will do them plain and do like a sausage, egg, and cheese inside those bagels to take over to my son's house. And then what else? What else? Oh, I'm going to do something new that I've never done. It may work out, it may not. I'm going to try to make my own pasta. Never have I tried that. Never, ever, ever have I tried that. Because I'm thinking you have to have all this equipment. You have to have, you know, the thing that feeds the sheets through to get them thin enough. I've watched enough videos in my adult life that it intimidated me. But recently I've seen some that are very simple, that you use your rolling pin, you know, to get it thin. And I don't have any tools to make pasta, but my hands, a rolling pin, and a knife. So we're going to try to make the fettuccine homemade. If that doesn't work, I do have pasta in the pantry. But we're going to try that. I think that'll be good. Okay, so got my earbud in while I'm doing stuff. I'm listening to a book. I listen to audiobooks all the time, to and from work, while I'm cleaning the house, while I'm cooking. I just love it. And I am on Kristen Hanna books. Have y'all read Kristen Hanna books? I'm late in the game. I realize that. But I'm just reading them one after, or listening to them one after the other. And I love her style of writing. I love her books. Every one of them just touches me, and I think about them for days. So let me know what you think about Kristen Hanna in the comments. Have you read her books? If you haven't, I highly recommend them. All right, we're going to give this yeast a few more minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, let me see if I can get you down there to see. It's foaming. We're good. It's active. I'm sorry. I'm just making this is like meat and stuff laid out for later on. Okay, so to this, I am going to add 1 cup of sourdough starter. I have not been successful on a sourdough bread. Well, I hadn't really tried that much. I'm keeping my sourdough starter alive over there, and when I discard, I put it in this quart jar and keep it in the refrigerator. And this was almost full, and so I've been discarding in the trash. So I have discard I need to use. So I did make some, the other day, some sourdough discard English muffins. They are delicious. So that's why I wanted to make these bagels. All right, so I've got 1 cup of discard that we're going to put in. Let me bring you down so you can see. I think I'm going to need a spatula. Okay. Alright, and it calls for 2 tablespoons of maple syrup or honey. I'm using maple syrup. So I put about a tablespoon in it already. So I'll put another one and one to grow on. Then we need 2 teaspoons of salt and 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Three, 4. I have a hard dropping my flour container and it's flour going everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid on because this is gonna go whoosh. And I don't know where my other lid that goes on here, but I'm gonna put this over here so it don't just gonna watch it and see if it's too dry or if it's too moist. If it looks too wet, I will put more flour. If it looks too dry, I'll add some more water. Feels good. So, all right, I'm gonna let this go. We're gonna knead it in here about 5 minutes. I'm gonna put it. This is a Bosch, and I'm gonna put it on #1 setting. If you have a KitchenAid, you use #2 setting, and I may crank it up to 2 after everything gets really incorporated. But we're gonna let this go, and I'll be back. There. Okay, it's almost done kneading, but I have decided that I'm just going to do all of these blueberry. So I'm going to add some frozen blueberries in on this last stretch of kneading. I'm gonna do about a cup. And this is going to turn our batter purple. Or not batter, our dough. Yeah. All right, let's get it back going. And that will need and incorporate those blueberries, and when they're just incorporated, we will stop. Okay, since the blueberries were frozen, it was adding some moisture into here, and I added about a tablespoon of flour, and it was not getting mixed in, so we're going to have to hand knead this just a bit. Nothing major, nothing. Oh, heavy dough. Heavy dough. Okay, so I'm going to go over this bowl because the blueberries are falling out. I think what I'm going to have to do is come on down here. Get these loose blueberries in. So a hair, that had to be from the blueberries. I know that's gross. Oh my gosh, I know that's gross. I know. I'm just sticking blueberries in. Okay. Oh, please. So just getting a damp towel, a warm damp towel to go on top. This is clean. I just got out of the dryer last night. I'm gonna put this over by the fireplace. We're gonna let this rise. Probably gonna be an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. I'm gonna get this going, and then we're gonna start something else. So I was getting some stuff ready, and I realized I didn't have any Parmesan cheese for the Alfredo. So I had to take a quick trip to get some Alfredo cheese, and we were out of milk too, so I had to buy a jug of milk. So I just ran down to the local Piggly Wiggly, and while I was in there, I decided that I'm not going to bust my butt today on cooking all this. We're going to have a convenience item, and that would be the cookies. So I got some frozen chocolate brownie cookies and some frozen chocolate chip cookies. These are so good. I don't know if y'all have, well, you probably don't if you don't live in the Southeast, but it's Southeastern Meats. They used to have a standalone store when I was young. My mother used to always go to it. You would get, they had pick fives. It was $5 for, probably back then, $10. Now it's $5 for $20. And you have meats, you have frozen wares, frozen desserts, breads, and all that. And it's pick 5, but I only got 2, so I basically paid full price for them, but they're not. Anyway, my story is they used to have a standalone store when I was young, and now they're found in grocery stores. So we're going to cook these up, not now, but later. So I'm going to get everything ready. I think that we're going to tackle the noodles. I think we're going to try our hand at making some pasta. I'll be back. Okay, it wasn't recording for whatever reason. Use your air. Okay, so the pasta recipe that I'm using, and I'm going by memory, I don't know where I got it from, but it's basically you use 1 egg for every 100 grams of flour. So what I've got in here is 4.5 cups. I measured it for cups, you know, for ease for y'all, and that's 500 grams. We're gonna start out with that. Okay, so 500 grams, 4.5 cups. So that would be 5 eggs. Duh. All right, I'm gonna put it out here on my board. And who knows, I may just make a buttload of pasta here. But you're gonna make a whale. I was gonna put my apron on because I know this is gonna be messy. However, I've got my dollar Goodwill sweatshirt on, so it'll be okay. Okay, you can make a whale. And we're gonna do 1. I've seen recipes where you're just supposed to use the egg yolks, and I've seen them with the whole egg. So I'm gonna go with the whole egg. Three, 4. Maybe I'll just do the egg yolk for the 5th one. Okay, and then you slowly start mixing. Scramble up the egg with your finger, and you slowly start mixing in the flour. If this turns out, and I can do this, you can too. And I know it's so convenient just to buy your pasta at the store. But I do like to learn new things and try new things. And I looked in my pantry and I don't have any fettuccine noodles. I've got elbow macaroni, and then when I went to the store, they didn't have any fettuccine noodles. So I don't have a backup besides elbow noodles, and that would work fine if this don't work out. But we're gonna pray this. Oh. You needed some salt that you mixed in with the flour, but we'll just mix it all in. That was about 2 teaspoons of flour. And you're just going to keep mixing in the flour until you get a dough. Okay, I'm just going to keep working this flour in, and then I'll come back once it's worked in. Okay, and I'm no expert, but it's already getting dry, and I've got all this flour left. So I am going to crack another egg in. To mix in. So that was 4.5 cups and 6 eggs. 4.5 cups of flour and 6 eggs. Should took my ring off. Ah. And still, we'll see. I may not have to mix the rest of that flour to scoot it over here in. And I'm going to sit here and knead it until it's smooth and all the flour is worked in. So I'm just going to knead it. And get all the egg incorporated into this flour. That feels good. I think that's enough flour, so. And it could be something about temperature in the air, how it does, or how much flour you need. And I may need to add some more because it's soaking up that flour really good. Sprinkle a little bit more. And you could probably make this in a stand mixer. Okay, I'm going to sit here. I'm probably going to have to knead it for 5 or 6 minutes. So I will be back when I'm done kneading, and I'll let you know if I have to add any more flour. Okay, I didn't have to add any more flour to it. I cleaned my board off. So I got it smooth, and when you push down, it springs back, and that's what you want. I have wrapped it up in cellophane, and we're just going to let it sit here about 30 minutes and let it rest. Okay, I'm getting the chicken ready to go in the oven. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 chicken thighs. We're going to season them up. I'm going to do some, that's my oven preheating. I got my oven preheating to 350. Or it's heated, I should say. Okay, we got salt, pepper, some garlic powder, more garlic, more better. And then just some Italian seasoning. These are still partially frozen, so I'm going to have to have a little bit extra time on these. Okay, into a 350-degree oven until they're done. How long that's going to take, I'm not quite sure, but I'll let you know. Okay, we are going to try our hand at the pasta. It's been sitting here about 30 minutes. Let's see, catch you up. I've got the chicken in the oven. I have got 2 pounds of ground beef on the stove in my cast iron that I'm going to brown up. It's still partially frozen too, so I've just got it on low to start cooking and defrosting. Hello, beautiful. Hang on. Okay, UPS drove up. Chris went out there to talk to her. That's his UPS wife. They always like to talk. Okay, so, let me bring you down. Alright, I've got my little shaker thing with some flour. So we're going to flour this out. Just right here. to prevent sticking. And I'm going to cut this in half. I'm trying to think. Okay, we're going to try in half first, okay? We're going to shake some. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty right now. Okay, so we're going to start rolling. I've got to get this as thin as possible. You hear me? As thin as possible. And I think that I'm going to try to do it like long, skinny. And I may have to cut some off. I may have gotten too much. It's pulling back in, so all the gluten hadn't developed the best. So I'm going to let it sit here for just a minute more, well, probably a couple minutes more, so this gluten will start relaxing. So it doesn't, when I roll it, it don't keep shrinking back up. All right, let's try this. Okay, I've ended up having to trim it because it was getting too long, and I believe that I have gotten it as thin as I can. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit more flour on here so it don't stick. And we're going to, let me see, I think we'll roll it this way. Okay. And you're just going to do thin noodles. Okay, and then I'll be back. Okay, had to get busy on the blueberry bagels because they had risen. Taking a break on the, I've got my rest of my pasta dough over here covered up to keep it from drying out. And so we're just going to work on this. Make sure that all the blueberries are incorporated. And Chris is on the phone if you hear him in the background. Whew. Okay. We're going to make 8 bagels out of this. So I am going to cut this in half. Cut this in half. In half. These are going to make big bagels. Half. And half. And half. Okay, I got a sheet pan and put some parchment, and then I sprayed it with a little bit of avocado oil just to kind of keep them from sticking. in my water I put a tablespoon of brown sugar and a tablespoon of baking soda. Let that dissolve and come to a boil. Still working on the ground beef over here for the Mexican casserole. I think it's almost done. I've just been cooking it low. Whew. Got so much going on. Check out the chicken. That's good. Okay, my oven's preheating to 350 for the bagels. If it goes spider, but I think that's what I'm going to use for the bagels.
These state organizations are supposed to be doing stuff for the lodger. I think that's a total waste.
We're probably going to, we'll boil the, we're not probably, we are going to boil these, put them in, boil about 30 seconds, flip it over, another 30 seconds, and then out and back onto the baking sheet. And once they're all have had their little hot dip in the sauna, they'll go into the oven to finish baking. Alright, we're getting to a boil now. I'm going to go in. Probably just going to have to do one at a time. Okay, so these are done. I've already put, I had to put the last two on a separate pan. So these are going into a 350 oven. I'm going to say probably about 15 minutes, but I'll let you know. Okay, so this was the first batch that I did. And this is the second batch that I did. You see the difference? First pancake. Woo. Anyway, so I'm going to finish rolling out the rest of this dough so we can get busy on that. And got a lot of fires in the oven. I'll be back. My hair's falling down. Okay, last of the pasta. Praise the Lord. Okay, I found that using a pizza cutter is easier than the knife. No, they're not perfectly even. I think that'll give it that rustic look. That's what you call it when you make mistakes and everything's not perfect. Oh, it's rustic. Okay. If these taste good, I can make pasta. Now, I don't think it'd be my favorite thing to do unless I had just a day to dedicate to making it and drying it, you know, for future use. But when you got so many other things going on, this is a time consuming activity. So I'm going to, taking the pasta off these racks. These are just some wire clothes hangers that I had that I wiped off real good. And then I'm just hanging these. I'm just putting them on like that. And then I'm hanging them over the fireplace. I've turned the fireplace off just now because it's gotten hot as Hades in here. But the the hot air is still blowing, so. I took the chicken out of the oven. It took about 50 minutes because they were partially frozen. And so they're sitting over there cooling and chilling. And I don't know if I rolled these thin enough, but I rolled it till I could see the wood grain from my cutting board through the pasta. Okay, so I'm gonna finish hanging these, put them over there in front of the fireplace, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. All right, I just took the bagel pan out that just had two bagels in it. Those were on the top rack, and so the ones on the bottom rack was not as brown on the top, so I moved them up to the top rack. And just gonna put them on a wire rack somewhere. I have no room for nothing. Cool. And we'll do a taste test on those bad boys. Hot to trot. Okay. They're not pretty. I know they're not pretty, but it's okay. All right, so down here, I got my chicken. Took it out of the pan. I was letting it cool. We're going to give it a chopperooski. I use that fresh cracked pepper, and gosh, that's so good. I do that by taking whole peppercorns and blending them up in my blender. Taste is phenomenal. I think that I've only got the bandwidth today to do this meal for tonight. I'm going to do the Mexican casserole too, but I think I'm going to have to make another one of these to take over to my son's later. I'll go ahead and cut it up. Cut it all up. Okay, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get some butter melted. I am going to use a whole stick of butter in here. Simply because I'm using extra butter because I don't have any heavy cream. I'm going to be using half and half and some whole milk. Well, half and half I have left. So I'm adding extra butter for the butter fat to kind of equal out having heavy cream. I'm going to do a tablespoon of minced garlic. Butter and garlic. Does it get any better? And then a block of cream cheese. I'm putting it in here first so it can be melting down. I have had it sitting out all day, so it's really soft. We want this to melt and get creamy. I've not made a really big batch of this before, so I may have to adjust and add and stuff like that. But I'll put like a basic recipe down in the description box. Or I think I have a video of me making this. I'm going to put a good handful, 2 handfuls of chopped fresh spinach. You can use frozen, just strain it real good. This is half and half. This was probably 3 cups. I'm going to add about 2 more cups of just whole milk. Add another half of a block. For my regular recipe, I use a whole block. Kind of doubling this, so maybe I need to use 2 blocks. I think I'm going to do 2 blocks. That'll thicken it up better. And I am doubling this recipe, and my regular recipe I use 1 block, so that makes sense. If I can get the darn thing open. I wish I had added this back when the butter was hot and bully. Okay, and to this also, I've got this Asiago cheese, which is kind of like a Parmesan cheese that I had left over that I bought at Aldi. So we're going to use this first. Okay, and then we need our salt. I'm going a little less on the salt because I don't know how salty the cheese is going to be. And pepper. Pepper with the cheese sauce is delish. Oh. The bagels. Okay, they're out. They almost got a little bit too brown, but they're okay. Okay. I can turn that lower oven off. Alright, we're going to bring this up to a good simmer. Okay, I just did a taste test and it needs more cheese. And I hate using this pre-shredded Parmesan, but that was my only option. That was about, this is bag one, probably about 1 cup. The bag was 1.5 cups, so that's got about a half a cup left in the bag. So that makes 1 cup in here. Y'all follow me? I'm getting there. I'm just using different measuring spoons to taste test this one. I hadn't used that one yet. Getting better. I think I'm going to add the rest of this in. And I am going to add a little bit more salt. bit more pepper. You just season it to your taste. I think the garlic is coming through pretty good. I think I might just add a little bit of garlic powder. Okay, let's get the noodles going. That's going to be the main event, is if this turned out. Fill up this pot with some wah-wah. And add some salt to the water. I put the chicken in. I almost forgot it, but I did 3 handfuls. Maybe that was about 4 cups. We're going to let this continue to sit on this eye that's turned off, but it's still hot. We're waiting on the, I got blueberry under my nails. Waiting for this to come to a boil. This is the ones that has already dried semi. We're going to do those first, and then I'll get some off of the racks that's over there by the fireplace for the rest. See how many we need. I'm going to put them in, I'm going to put this in one of these aluminum pans. I thought they were bigger, but they're not, but they're pretty deep. Okay, so when this comes to a boil and we start the pasta, I'll be back. Alright, we're getting get the simmer on here. I decided to get the ones off the rack. These are so pretty. And put these in first. Now this is not like regular pasta where it takes, 8 to 10 minutes to cook. I think this just takes a couple of minutes. Because they're not completely dry by no means. I hope I made enough. Fingers crossed. They look good. I hope this pan's going to be big. This pot, this skillet, deep skillet, is going to be big enough. Kind of like a little wok. Alright, we're going to let those cook. I turned the eye down a little bit. We're going to let those cook and get tender. It shouldn't take long at all if they don't boil over. Don't boil over. Smells delish. Okay. I'm spilling over. Alright, I am going to add some of the skinnier ones, not the first batch, the bad pancake. I'll do the okay, I put those other noodles in it, and I just came over here so I'd have some room. We're going to get all this mixed together. Okay, I think it's going to be good. I'm going to get, yes I am, I'm going to get a noodle. Set it over here and let it cool down. I put it in my cream cheese little box to cool down. Just make sure, don't need any seasonings before I finish this off. Come on. Yes. Yes. I'm a noodle maker. I'm a noodle maker. Woohoo! I am a grandma tootin' noodle maker. Y'all hear me? Okay, that's so good. Don't need anything. I'm gonna top it with some more Parmesan cheese. Just because I'm gonna put it in the oven and melt the cheesy right before we go. Yummy. Okay, so that's done. I don't have to do anything else with it until we bake it. And I'm only baking it to heat it through, melt the cheese, because it'll be a little bit before we go. Alright, now then, my battery's about to die. I see it blinking at me. I'll be back. It's changing the battery. Had to reach over my little Scentsy thing with the melted wax. And I dipped my thing in it. That's going to be just... Okay, like I said, I paid $1 for it at a Goodwill store or, you know, one of them kind of stores. It'd be okay. It'd be okay. It'd be okay. Alright. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to... Yay me. Snip this. And we're going to do a taste test on the bagels. Taste test on the bagels. They are warped, but that's okay. Let me see which one. I'll take this little one. And it's crispy on the outside. Oh, You just get a subtle taste of the blueberries. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. With some cream cheese. That'd be delicious. Okay. I'm going to clean up some of this mess. We're going to get the cookies in the oven. I'm not going to film tonight or in this video, my Mexican casserole that I'm taking over to my son. I know this is long and drawn out. I'm going to try to edit and cut as much as I can so it's not the longest video ever. But I'll have another video with the Mexican casserole in it that I'm going to take. But now we need to get the cookies in the oven so they can be baking and cooling some. So I'm going to get those ready. Hang tight. Okay, I've just got a cookie sheet with a seal pat on it. Both of these are the same directions. I'm doing convection oven, which is 325. You can do a conventional oven at 350. Place the frozen cookie dough on a lined pan about 2 inches apart. Bake for approximately 8 to 10 minutes. So while that is preheating, I'm gonna do half and half, the brownie cookies and the chocolate chip. These look pretty good. Just don't have it in me today to make fresh cookies. I'm going to do 9 of the brownies. And then let's see how many I can get of the chocolate chips. Get 9 on here, I think. Yeah, I need 9, so I'll have 18 cookies. I will twist these up and put them back in the freezer. I used to buy these all the time, and I'd like take 2 or 3 out and just put them in my air fryer. That's when I kept my air fryer out. And they were so good, you know, at night when you want something sweet. But I hadn't bought these in a long time. So, oven's preheating. Okay, cookies are out of the oven. I left them in about 10 minutes. I'm just going to take them off and put them on a wire. Ooh, that one broke. Put it on a wire rack to cool. Okay, I bagged up the blueberry bagels. I bagged up the ground beef that I had cooked. Put it in the refrigerator because I'm not going to get to that today with everything going on. And so I may just make it over at their house tomorrow. So I'll make some footage of that. Maybe they'll let me show the grandbaby on my video. Because he's the prettiest thing you ever did see. Okay, so I'm doing that. I'm trying to think what else. I'm going to put that. Oh, I got to do my no knead bread. I do have videos on those. I'll link them down below. Very easy, delicious bread. It's my go-to, taking bread somewhere. So, got that done. What else? Oh, I'm so proud of the pasta, guys. I'm so proud of it. Now, is it something that I would make every time I do pasta? No. No, it's very time-consuming. It's very back-breaking. You know, if I was young, maybe so, but it's very time consuming when you can just open up a box and boil it. Okay, so the cookies are on the cooling rack. Ooh, it's hot. So those will cool off and I'll bag those up and take them when we go. And I guess that's it, guys, for now. It seems like I'm forgetting something, but maybe I'm not. But thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'll try not to make it a long video. Oh, and I was going to tell you how long the bagels were to cook. But I think that, I think I got it on film the time on my stove. I can't remember how long it took. So I'll try to catch that when I'm editing and let you know how long the bagels took to cook. And that's it. That's all, folks. Thanks for being here. Love you guys. Mwah. Please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you hadn't already. Leave me a comment. I love it. Let me know about the books. and I will see you guys next time. Bye.